Hello and welcome to the show. Now, regular viewers, I know I'm a massive fan of muscle cars, but this is not always an attitude that is shared over large parts of, well, Europe, basically, which to me is a little bit of a shame. Yes, these vehicles are not sophisticated. They are big, they are heavy, they go very fast in a straight line, but they aren't the best when it comes to a corner, and that makes sense. The purpose of them was to be cheap and to be fast in a straight line. The other things were, well, secondary concerns. And of course, let's not forget, these cars are very old by now. You know, talk about cars from the 60s, they aren't going to be amazing handling vehicles. The thing is, though, this attitude does still remain sort of consistent towards more modern American cars. And to me, that is a little bit of a shame because, well, they've certainly changed a fair bit. We now have track-based muscle cars. We have things like this Shelby GT500, we have things like the Camaro ZL1 1LE, which is still a silly name, but it's a very, very quick car. In this Shelby, we have the new GT500 here. 760 horsepower in this car. That's more power than a McLaren 720, it's more power than a Ferrari F12. And this is a vehicle that's supposed to be pretty damn fast when it comes to a circuit. It's supposed to be able to contain and use all of that power. So we're going to find out whether these track-based muscle cars, whether the likes of the GT500, whether the likes of the Camaros can really take it to the European cars, whether they can really battle with some of the best European track-based vehicles. Now, when you think of a track car, my mind immediately goes to a Lotus. They are small, they are light, they are very agile, and yeah, around circuits these things are incredibly, incredibly fast. And we have the Lotus 311 here that is half the weight of the show. It's obviously exactly half the weight of the GT500. It has 400 horsepower as well, so power to weight ratio in the little Lotus is ridiculous. Now, you would expect that this thing to be far quicker through the corners than the big, heavy muscle cars. But is it? Is it actually going to be able to do that? I mean, we haven't got just the likes of the Lotus. We have things from Mercedes. We have the AMG GTR, again, much more expensive than your Shelby or your Camaro. We have the Vantage. We have the GT12. We even have a slightly older 911 GT3. These cars are not things that you'd expect the muscle cars to maybe beat them in a straight line, but you would not be expecting the muscle cars to be able to take it to these vehicles around some twistier circuits. So that's what we're going to go and find out. So we have come to our first race, Three Fields Circuit. I am going to be driving one of the Mustangs. Ooh, and we start towards the front. In fact, we've got a good selection in the front rows. We've got the Camaro, the Ford, the Aston Martin, there's a Lotus in there. I don't know what we're going to see really around here. I know how phenomenally fast the Camaro is. I know how difficult to drive the Lotus is. I'm hoping the Ford is going to be pretty good in all of this, but we shall have to wait and see. We have plenty of power, of course. The Lotus is very quick off the line. It's the least powerful car here, but it is very, very light. It's very light indeed. So it does have that going for it. We outrun the Camaro up the hill. Now, the Camaro does have more aero than the Mustang, so it's perhaps not a surprise that we are the faster of the two cars in a straight line. I think we have more power as well. I'm not 100% sure on that one at this current moment in time. We are back past the Camaro, but then we're going through this section. I'm out a little bit wide through there. It's partly my bad on that one. There are some other Fords in this, so it's not just one person per car. We have a couple of, I think there are 3 Mustangs, I think there are 3 Camaros, 3 Lotuses. There's a couple of other oddballs thrown in further down. We've got the Aston Martins, we've got Mercedes, we've got an AMG GTR, and there is a 911. The 4-litre GT3 is in here. Oh, we got a little bit wide. This is the bit that we just can't match the Camaro for. The Camaro is so bloody fast in the corners. It has so much grip. So we can beat it down the straight. So the circuit with lots of long straights, I think the Mustang would be the faster of the two. But as soon as we get to the corners, we just don't have an answer for the Chevy. We'll get on the brakes up here. Now, I don't know this track crazy well, although to be fair, we're all relatively even on the track knowledge here, having none of us driven at the Lego island for ages. I had a brain fart mid-corner because I was busy I'm desperately trying to not lose touch with the Camaro at the moment. Oh, I did exactly the same thing through there. Just a light bump on the wall, just slides the tyres a bit. We're actually in danger of getting caught by a Lotus at the moment. Ollie is making the Lotus work for now. I'm going to run wide again through there. That's twice now in 2 laps. We get into trouble on that section. Gliska also ran a smidge wide through there. This is an interesting corner. Come on, Ford, find some grip. I hate to say it. As much as in the Mustang versus Camaro battle, I would normally choose the Mustang. I feel like in this one we are not quite able to match the very long, perhaps slightly overcomplicated name. What is it? ZL11LE, I think. I think I've remembered that. There's a lot of L's and E's and 1s, and it's a bit of a mess. However, the car is incredibly fast. We've got Liam up here with one of the other Shelbys. That is desperately trying to fight off the Lotus. Got a little bit wide there again. Run as close to someone's fence. Sorry about that. It's fine. The Lotus is closer than I wanted it to be. Did not want to look back and see the Lotus right there. Okay, it's less on the grass this time. I just can't maintain corner speed through there. Not like the Camaro can, not like the 311 can. Perhaps not so surprising in some ways. Jeez, this is like a £4,000 car in comparison to that Lotus. Although the Lotus has found a fence, although me trying to dodge the fence has took me on a funny angle. No. Maybe trying to dodge, like I turned into that corner normally, and we're trying to dodge where the Lotus would end up being very slow all of a sudden, and I just couldn't get my car away. I got my car away in time, but I couldn't get it sort of back into control in time. That's annoying. Oh, we've fallen to 5th. Okay, we chased after Longbow's Camaro. We're back to it. We've gone back to 5th, but we're still in the same predicament of I'm chasing a Camaro. It's a little bit wide. In fact, Longbow's just got about as wide as I did as well. Liam's slid the Mustang up ahead. I've overdone it through there. Tried to catch up. What we got behind us? I think it's the Merc behind us, actually. That's the next one. Oh, no. That's terrible. Cannot get that corner right to save a life. I keep turning in. For some reason, my brain keeps thinking I can be that fast, despite the fact every lap we do not have the grip. It does look like Longbow may have a chance at passing Liam before the end of this race. This one has not gone well for the Shelby. I say it's not gone well. We are comfortably clear of the Mercedeses, the Aston Martins, the Porsche, all of that lot. Which I guess is still quite a... To be fair, of the top 5, 4 of them are the American cars. There's one Lotus. The one solitary Lotus representing it for the European kind of track machines. Which is quite entertaining. That's for sure. Come on, Mustang. Just a little bit more front end grip. Just had a smidge more front end grip. This thing was so fast as it is. The difference is that the Camaro does have that front end grip. The Camaro does have that turn in, which we just lack in the Mustang. We don't run wide this time. And Pega's got the Porsche into 6th. But it's going to run out of time unless I have a very big accident, which I'm going to hope I don't through here, which we do not. Yeah, we cannot match the leader. I think the Lotus might actually get fastest lap of the race. We kind of started off alright, we hung around for a bit, and then we gradually slipped down the order. Jeez, the Lotus was phenomenal. The Lotus is a second quick. It is quite high in terms of PI, it's higher in terms of PI. That'll be a fun inclusion. That's Stevie's Lotus actually outrunning Pega to the line. The Lotus is equipped with a very difficult to drive. I didn't have my greatest ever performance from the Mustang, but as I said, 4 out of top 5 vehicles there were the American cars. Now, of course, because these vehicles are, more geared towards use on a track, it only seems right that we test them out on the kind of only racetrack that we have to play around with. We have come to, this is the whole reason why we're on the Lego Island, the Falcon Arrowhead circuit. an interesting track. This one, quite a nasty, fiddly technical circuit, does have some straight line speed stuff for the Mustangs to enjoy. Perhaps. We'll see how this goes. We will launch off the line. The Porsche with that rear engine traction, that's off. It will quickly be outmuscled by the sheer power of the Mustang. I mean, we're going to go reeling in this package. Jesus, this thing is fast in a straight line, but we're going to have to brake somewhere, and I don't quite know where, and I don't have the grip of the cars around me. Liam got it better than I did. Everyone was a little, I'll say everyone, there's a fair bit of caution went on through there, and Pega's slid the Porsche through there. I see there's a Gliska with a Camaro having a look to the inside. We are 3 wide, and Mustang is alongside Camaro at a 911. We have got the run on the Camaro. We're again going to have to be out wide here, though. You can get some speed out the top of this bank corner if you're left alone well enough, which we do get the run, which is currently annoying Gliska for the moment. Admittedly, I think we have some pace in this car here. We're now onto Mustang territory. This is where the Lotus is going to suffer. The 311 will not have the top end speed, but this just might not be a long enough straight, and Pega went too low on the, hit the apron and got into trouble. Here comes the GT500. The 311 is still pretty damn fast down that straight. I'll give credit where credit is due. I didn't think it was going to get mugged a little bit more than that. And any positional gains we got, we then lost, having run wide through there. Oh, I was a little too cowardly. I should have been better through there. Can we duck underneath for the exit? We might still get a good run off the corner in the Mustang. We do. Longbow leads. It's a big battle around here. The Mercedes is clinging on at the moment. The Mercedes is there. It is clinging on. We're now back looking at a Camaro again. We are around the final corner. Clark is in trouble. He's going to get mugged by both Mustangs, I think, into the first corner. Now, the trick with the banking here, do not go on the apron if you can help it. The cars bobble a lot. Oh, we could not quite help it. We're still to the inside of that Mercedes. We might finally get a move completed. Gliska follows us through there. We are now going to battle with the Lotus here. God, the Porsche is struggling for straight line speed. Got a Camaro to the inside, basically taking the line that I did on the previous attempt, which is fair enough. Actually does get a better run, and we'll complete that pass for now, but we're going to force that car a long way around, hopefully up here. It might still hold on, though. Liam's up to second place with the other GT500. God, I'm envious. Every time I watch the Camaro through a corner, I'm just envious of the level of grip that it has. We're out wide through there. That might cost us a little bit too much time. Here comes Clark with the Mercedes. I'm hoping it's not to the inside. Never mind, it is. I had to have a little lift. I'm not the best at doing the really fine, the really smooth movements needed for oval racing. I'm not the best at doing on a controller. So it's a little janky through that turn 1. We are going to be side by side with Clark all the way down here. Oh, there we go. It's just constant fighting with something around. It's good news for an exciting race. You are very much in constant fights with something. And Pega gets a bit of sliding. I'm pretty sure the Lotus spun its wheels up as well on the outside of that. And Pega gets put out a little bit wide through all of that. Oh, gets onto the start-finish straight. We've got one more lap around here. We've got to try and fend off from that Mercedes. There is a Mustang up in second place. We were running with this group. Gliska hit the apron and got very sideways, lost all the momentum, and is going to lose that place to Impega, I should think. Well, Impega's got to try and get it slowed down and doesn't quite. Unfortunately, just ends up directly where I want to be, and I don't have the grip to change direction for that. Come on, Mustang. Come on, you big boat. I say big boat. It's probably not really. Watching all of these cars with better turning than me is, I say it's a little bit, but shame. We then do blitz everything on the straight, which, you know, is nice. Impega's running very low through there, but so still carrying good speed with that GT3. We are going to be too far back, and it's going to be Nothing that we can do. It's close at the front of the field. I think Longbow got it for the Camaro. We end up in 6th. Not the best showing. It was. Camaro beats Ford, only just up there. Liam was absolutely flying with that thing. The Lotus was quick, up in 3rd. This could be 4th ahead of Impego. We end up in 6th with our Mustang. Yeah, I could have driven a little bit better. Could have driven that one a smidge better. It's a good, really, really good fun race though between all of those vehicles. So we are on to a drag race between these vehicles. Now we're using the drag strip here at the racetrack. Now this is a little bit of a shorter drag race than some of the ones that we've done in the past. It's kind of a bit closer to a quarter of a mile style of drag race. Now I have, well, with the most powerful car in the field here, in the form of the Shelby. We're lined up alongside one of the Lotuses as we get off and underway. The lightweight Lotus is going to shoot off into the distance. Come on, Shelby, use the 700 horsepower. It's starting to pull on everything here. The Lotuses are gone, the Porsche is gone, the Mercedes we're catching, but we're going to run out of time. We end up in 6th place. I think we're the best of the American machines. The Lotuses are 1, 2, 3. Then we have the Porsche, then we have the Mercedes. That's not how this is supposed to go. The Vantage wasn't particularly fast, and the muscle cars that are supposed to be fast in a straight line are beaten by the handling cars, I guess because they're light and they launch better. A longer straight, the GT500 was catching, but not fast enough. So next, the age-old test, 0 to 100 to 0. So this not only testing launch, acceleration, but also the braking of the vehicles. Now, it's a little bit different because we've got multiple versions of the same car running in this, which should be interesting to see how they match up. It's an absolutely spot-on, perfect run for my Shelby in that one. I really could not have asked for a better run there. So we have the 3 Shelbys going first. Of course, I said the most powerful car here, but they are also the heaviest. They struggled to get off the line a little bit. I had a slightly better run than the Grey Machine. As I said, there is always some slight sort of variation in these runs, how you get the gear shift, how you get it off the line, and so on, how you react to the 100 mile an hour. You can see the difference between the Shelby. My run, as I said, was absolutely spot on. I could have done one better if I tried, I think. So, yeah, the others not quite the close. Of course, they're going to be close. Camaro up next. Will set off, and that will be on the brakes, but it's not going to match the Shelbys in that one. Not quite such a good run for that particular Camaro. Less power in this car, but it is a little bit lighter. It has a lot more aero parts on it. It's not as fast as the Shelby in terms of ultimate top speed. Is a better run for the next of the Camaros. Even that, though, can't beat the benchmark set by mine. Final of the Camaros will run a little bit of a wiggle setting off, not particularly what you want, but the American cars all relatively goes together, despite the wiggle actually, still managed to do a smidge better. The Aston Martin, not really that strong in this field, I have to say. I expected more perhaps from the Vantage so far, and sure enough it's actually not on the brakes until it's past the Camaros, so that's not a great showing for the Vantage in this one. Not ideal. Now we have the 311s. This sort of test we expected the Lotuses to win. Let's be honest here, and sure enough, that has beaten it. The Shelby does admirably in how close it is to the Lotus, but yeah, this test was always going to be strong, shall we say, for the 311s, and the next one goes even better down here. It's not by much, but it is even better. We have the final of the 311s. Is it going to go and set that benchmark even sooner? Yeah, that's a very good run for the Pink Machine. Okay, Shelby not quite there with the Lotus. Mercedes, that will go next. Now that did okay in the drag race. It was starting to get caught a little bit, but that's actually that's an impressive run for the AMG, considering what it's up against. It actually beats one of the 311s. That's a hell of a run for that car. And then we have the 911 rear engine, helping it get off the line is always useful in this sort of stuff. The Porsche goes on the brakes. It doesn't quite beat the Lotuses, but it does successfully beat the Shelby in all of that. So there we have it. I mean, the winners of this, not a particular surprise. We always knew the Lotuses were going to be very, very difficult to beat. The biggest surprise perhaps from this is the Mercedes. The AMG mixing it up there with the 311s is kind of in that group. That's a hell of a run. The GT3 also a very, very good showing for that particular particular car. It can't quite match the Lotuses, but it's right there. Then we have the first of the Shelbys. My vehicle would be there. The Camaros, maybe on average, the Camaros were a smidge better than the Mustangs, but it was pretty close between the lot of them. Yeah, it was interesting to see the spread between the vehicles and how that perfect run was going to make that little bit of difference with this. But there we have it. The Lotuses win the event that we expected. Oh, and there's an Aston Martin. Forgot about that. Yeah, the Vantage having a rough time in this one. It's just not quite there. It's just not quite there with this group of vehicles in terms of lap speed or in terms of straight line speed. Expected the Lotuses to be quick at this one, and they certainly were. So there we have it. As far as conclusions go, around a circuit, the muscle cars actually really could mix it up there. The Shelby, on a faster circuit, the Shelby is very, very quick. That power is very nice and is pretty damn well controlled. It just lacks a little bit of turning that you get with a Camaro. The Camaro, on the twistier circuit, the Camaro is the better. On a faster circuit, the Shelby is the better. The Lotus is fast, but very difficult to drive, very, very unforgiving. And I think that's the kind of its downside almost. The muscle cars were much easier to drive very fast. The Lotus isn't. And if it gets a perfect lap, it can maybe be a little bit quicker on some circuits, but overall it is a bit too difficult to keep at that sort of a level. Mercedes, the Porsche, were fast at times, but the Camaro and Mustang were probably the faster options. As the Aston Martin wasn't great. Sadly, I like the car, but just wasn't fast enough in this. So weirdly, we're going to say that for the circuits, you want the muscle cars, and then for the straight line speed stuff, you want the Lotus. Because that makes sense. Yeah, the 311 thrashed everything at the drag race. Yes, at a longer drag race, when we talk about top speed, the Mustang is going to win. You know, if we go to a mile drag race or we go to the motorway drag race that you can do, yeah, the Mustang's got a higher top speed, but the Lotus's launch and acceleration is so quick that in smaller half a mile drag race, the Lotus would probably still be winning. The Mustang would probably get up to 4th, but I think the Lotus would still do it because they're just so quick accelerating that, yeah, they're going to win that. So the muscle cars lose to a Lotus on a drag race and they win on the circuits. There we go. That's it. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.